Hello everyone, today I will be doing a brush swatch of the Maybelline Nudes palette from the Maybelline limited edition Dare to Go Nude kit that I filmed basically like a first impression review, and this is what the box looks like. And I basically purchased it at TJ Maxx, so it's one of the kits that I was able to obtain from TJ Maxx for $6.99, and it comes with this palette that comes with 12 shades, and I will be swatching all 12 shades. This is what the inside of the palette looks like. You can see all the shades, and you can see the ones that I did from the tutorial. So I will leave that palette there in view. I'm going to put my arms here so that way you all can see the colors. And I'll swatch the eyeliner too, just so you all can see it. It's the Maybelline Line Express. I'm trying to put it up to the camera. It's the Maybelline Line Express in Ebony Black. And it's a smaller, it's not a full-size pencil. I would call it like a sample size. And it's part of the kit. And I will be using the Beauty Concept Makeup Brush Wipes to basically remove the color for each swatch before I swatch the next color. And I purchased this from $2.99 from Marshalls. So this is what the packaging looks like. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to put that there. I'll use the wipe and I'll put it here so I can dampen it off. And then I'm going to get a dry tissue. I will be right back. So basically I'm going to be using a dry tissue. Focus back, okay. So basically I'm going to be using a dry tissue to remove any excess moisture between swatches, and that way you all can see the true pigmentation. So I'm not applying it while the dampness from the makeup brush wipe, and I'll be using a regular tissue to remove some of that moisture. So I'm going to be using the Morphe M408 brush to do my swatch. And let's get started. So the first shade in the palette, I'm going to start the top row here, and I'm going to start from left to right. And we're going to start with the first shade. And the first shade looks like more of a very sheer pearl finish. It looks like a almost iridescent, but it's more pearl. I would think maybe pearl and frost, but it's definitely on the sheer side. You all can see that. want to swatch more. And it almost looks like very peachy in the color on the swatch on my arm. Again, that is the shade. It definitely looks like a shade you will want to use for a highlight, like a brow bone highlight or inner corner highlight. So if that is the first shade, so I'm going to go in with the next shade here, which looks like a taupey. It looks like maybe like a taupey, basically like a basic taupe, like a maybe a satin taupe. Hopefully you all can see that. And when you are picking up pigment from this palette, you kind of have to move your brush back and forth to even pick up some pigment. So this is definitely like, I would say a satin finish taupe color. Definitely good for a crease shade. Or it could be an all over the lid, but mostly I think a crease transition shade. And the next shade I'm going in will be this creamy beige color. And I think this may also be a satin shade. This shade is definitely more nude on my skin tone. It's very nude, and I think this shade would probably be challenging for anyone with my skin tone or darker. It may appear a bit like ashy, but maybe it could be like a base, possibly like a base shade all over the lid before you apply the other colors. So it's like a creamy, I would say like a creamy beige, like satin. I don't think it's matte. And then we're going to go in with this beautiful bronze shade. This bronze shade here. These shimmers, again, you have no idea how beautiful these are. If you have this palette, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the shimmers are so perfect in this palette. You can apply the colors at ease without any force to them. They are so pigmented, and they are blendable. So this is a nice copper bronze shimmer shade. And the palette does not come with names. There are no names, there's just numbers. On the back, they're referred to as quads, trios, and duos. But there are no names. And I think it would be cute if Maybelline came up with names for their palettes. So that's that copper bronze color. And the shimmers do pick up a lot of pigment, so when you're cleaning your brush in between applications, you definitely want to switch over to another brush, because those shimmers will just stay in that brush, and because it holds so much pigment. So the next shade we're going to go in is with this more darker tone taupe here. So I will have to move my arm between swatches because this palette is not heavy, so it moves when I try to pick up pigments. Okay. And this is the next shade. It is more of a darker taupe, like the second shade that I swatched, from the left moving towards the right. See my autofocus going in and out between swatches. So I definitely think this would make a nice matte shade. And when I said these, I would think the first two shades, not the first two shades, but the second and third shade, this shade, and this shade, they come off as more satin because there's a sheen, but I think you can use it almost like how you would use a matte shade in your transition, or as a all over the lid shade. I think it can be applied in multiple, it can be applied in different multiple ways. So, but I think these shades are more like transition, like inner creases. I would say inner creases, eyelids, and just I think just more of the transition shade colors, or as a base shade. So we're going to get some more of that shade. And then I'm going to show you how you have to, I notice, if I can show this, I have to move the brush up and down like this to kind of move and get pigment off onto the brush. Because some of the shadows are really, they're really solid in the palette. They're not, I wouldn't say they're hard, but you do have to finesse it to get some of the pigments up. So that is the fifth shade. I'm trying to put my arms where you are able to see it. While I clean off this brush. And the next shade we're gonna go in, looks like a matte dark chocolate brown shade that I think you could use for your outer crease and all over the eyelid shade, even as a eyeliner, and also, let's see, as a eyeliner and possibly a brow if your brows are dark enough, possibly a brow shade to color in your eyebrows, fill in. It definitely looks like a chocolate brown, I would say matte shade. Again, it's not bad. There is some patchiness as I'm swatching it. So there's definitely a shade you will have to build up if you're trying to get some intensity. But it's not bad, and I definitely think it's workable. I don't think this palette is a bad palette at all. It just takes, some palettes you just may have to take more patience to, again, finesse these shadows to your liking. But I definitely think it's a palette that you can use for a day and night look and for multiple purposes. So let's go in. So these are all the 6 shades from the top row of the Maybelline Dare to Go Nude. It says limited edition on this kit. Limited edition Dare to Go Nude kit from left to right. And this is a really pretty highlight for your inner corner highlight or for your brow bones. And then you have these shades that can be used as transitions, as lid colors, as eyeliner colors for your lash lines, possibly a eyebrow color if your brows are darker. So now we're going to go in with the bottom row, again going from left to right. And this is a shimmer, I would say a shimmer cool tone gold shade. Almost has a taupey reminiscence to it. But I think it is a beautiful classic shimmer color. That is that shade. It definitely has some undertones to it, even though it looks more of a cool tone copper. It has almost like a peachy type color to it. But that's why I say it's really beautiful, because it looks very like a vintage classic copper shade, but on the cool side. And that would make a beautiful all over the lid color, or a crease, outer crease shade. go in with the next shade, which looks like a medium tone brown. I would say it looks like a chocolate milk color, but it's medium compared to this, which I think is more of a chocolate dark brown. This one is more of a medium brown, but I think it is a matte shade. I'm gonna put that there. And the pigment is really strong with this color. And even though I dried off this brush that I'm using to swatch these shades, it is still slight bit damp from the makeup brush wipe. And I try to remove as much moisture as I can. But if you are having trouble with applying these shades, you could try to dampen your brush a little bit before applying these shades, just to give you maybe a little bit more payoff, color payoff, if you are having trouble with the pigmentations. But that color is stunning. That is really a beautiful color. It looks like a chocolate, like a medium chocolate milk brown shade in the palette, but when you swatch it, it almost looks like this really like burnt dark chocolate with like some red undertone to it. Just really, it's a really gorgeous shade that is beautiful. So that definitely has a good pigmentation payoff. So we're gonna go in with this nice, beautiful gold shimmer shade. That is this shade here. And it is very beautiful. So we're going to pick up some color. Again, these shimmers does not require a lot of pigment. They are one of the easier textures that is in this palette. And look how beautiful this gold is. This is so intense that I think you could use this as a highlight. If you want to highlight your brow bones, if you want to highlight your inner corner of your eyes, if you want to wear this over your eyelid, if you want to highlight your cupid's bow, your nose, your cheeks, there is good pigmentation from that gold. And it's more of a classic gold color. It looks a little bit more cooler on my viewfinder. However, in person, it looks like a very classic gold color. Like almost like a platinum gold, but not too white gold, but just a very true gold shade. So that is that shade. Again, I am very impressed with the shimmers as well as the mattes in this palette. You have a blend of cool and you have some warm But most of the shades comes off like more of a cool tone palette. According to the shades that are in the undertones, just seem more cool, on the cooler side. But some of these shimmers are a little bit on the warm, so you kind of get a blend of cool and warm in this palette. And we're gonna go in with the fourth shade, which is a very dark, I would say, a very dark bronze shade. I really think Maybelline paired this palette up to give off a daytime look and also a very nighttime look. Just going from the top row, the first 6 shades can be used for a day look. Not so much this shade, maybe just use it as a liner, but you could wear this to work. And I think that was done on purpose. And then the bottom rows are more of your going out for the night type shades, because there are more of the dramatic colors. So that is that copper shade. It looks very like a burnt, like say like a burnt plum type shimmer, like a blackberry plum. Shade. Definitely beautiful. That shade. Again, these shimmers are off the chain. That's one thing I know that Maybelline does well with their palettes, is providing those good shimmers. And I think if they can continue to make palettes that have this kind of pigmentation payoff, and this one, and continue to make those shimmer, it will be an outstanding palette. And I think with these more satin, they look like satin to matte when they dry. These shades look, this one, they have a sheen to it, but they also look matte. That's why I call them satins. But if they can increase the pigmentation with these 3 shades and increase the pigmentation for the highlight bone shade, it will be such a killer on the drugstore market. That's just my personal opinion. So let's go in with the 5th shade. And this shade looks like a creamy pearl shade. So it's this shade here. And let's go. This definitely has a frost finish to it. Or I should say pearl. Are pearl and frost the same thing? This one looks definitely frosty. Again, this can be like a highlight shade. Like highlight maybe your brow bone, inner eye highlight. looks sort of kind of peachy in the pan, or like a beige, but it comes off very cool. Almost like a cool, almost rose gold, but more on this, I feel like more on the silver. There's like some silver underlining to the shade. So that is the shade 4. That color. Almost duochrome. In person, if you see it, you can almost see a sort of shift. That's why I say it looks peachy and then it looks silver. So very, very, again, cool tone color. And then we're going to be going in with the last shade for this palette. And it's this nice dark black matte shade. So we're going to see the pigmentation color payoff for it. Swatch it right here. And it is a very true matte shade that could be good for eyelining. Or for a base shade all over your lid before applying some of the other colors. So that is that shade. And there you have it, all 12 shades in the Maybelline Dare to Go Nude palette. From left to right. And you can see there is good color payoff in this palette. It is not a bad palette at all. The pigmentations are good. There are slight patchiness with some of the colors, like this one kind of have some patchiness, and the black has a little bit of patchiness, but if you go over it and add additional layer to it, I think those shades would be just fine. With the, if you're my skin tone, or maybe darker, you would have to work in this shade a little bit more because it's very sheer. And with these two colors, I think if you blend them up and build them up, they'll be just fine too. This is a beautiful highlight bone shade. But the shimmers and the, I'll say mattes, are very beautiful in this palette. So I'm going to go from right to left, starting at the bottom row. These are the bottom row shades, and going to the top row, starting with this shade here. So there you have it, all 12 shades. I want to thank you for taking your time to watch this brush swatch video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, please leave them below, and I will catch you on my next video. Thank you again. Have a blessed day. Bye. As I was saying my closure to this video, I forgot to swatch the Maybelline Line Express eyeliner to add that to the swatch because it does come in the kit. And this is what the pencil looks like. There is a smudger brush on the tip if I can get it open. There is a smudger brush. I find these smudger brush very hard to use. The sponge tip is just too stiff in my opinion. So here is the color of the eyeliner. That is the eyeliner shade. So I think it's definitely pigmented. However, when I was applying it in the video, I noticed that my eyes, if it got water in the area, it started to wipe away. So you may want to definitely lay down a primer, and definitely try to keep your eyes as dry as possible. And it may be the only thing you want to use on your lash lines, whether you're using on your top lash line or your bottom lash line, and you just don't want to move any other colors in it, because when I was trying to apply another shade right below it, because I use it in my bottom lash line area, it started to try to fade away on me. So you just want to be aware that it's not waterproof pencil, eyeliner pencil. So again, those are the shades, the eyeliner. Thank you for watching and have a very great day. Bye.